Right.
Trying the circular one. See if it,
Oh, okay, yeah.
see if it
the other
curves.
one is
It's the horizontal, right? Right, both sides. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But we're like talking at it from like this angle, so let's see how that goes.
Oh, can we turn on this light too? This is the hard one. All right, we're on.
Oh, we're live.
All right.
Are we live?
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, looks like
Okay.
it. What's happening?
Hodl, hodl, hodl. Save, save, save. Hold, hold. Sound money, sound money. Hello, guys. We just wanted to, hey, this is the design that we will be getting, and we already sold one, and I'm sure they'll all be sold out. I got 12 of them that I'll be taking. Yeah, turn on this light here.
Awesome.
What we have 12 of them, and you can order one if you're not coming to the conference, and we will ship it to you and deliver it to you. Oh, it should. Just keep working on it. And any rate, we've already sold one. If you're coming to the conference, Unconfiscatable, and you want one, you need to order them now. Hopefully we'll be sold out before we get there. We already sold one. And so I have 11 more. Okay, the light's not working. Okay. So anyway, well, we don't need the light. Did you move it? Were you able to move it?
I moved it, but it's not turning on.
Well, I might need a new battery. I don't know. Okay.
That's right. You're starting to sell out. That was fast too.
Okay, so yeah, so we got 12 of them. This is the one. It's gonna be like this, and be a yellow light in there. These things do have. We're holding them at half. There's actually a piece that screws on, so they're full staff. But it gets a little bulky and doesn't work as well, you know, when you just want to hold them like this. So anyway, guys, if you are, again, this is a fundraiser, so we're not offering, even to members, we're not offering a discount because we're selling for 0.15 Bitcoin. 0.1 goes to the recipient, which is this year Tyler Jenks. And so next, you know, hopefully every year we're going to have a larger and larger stipend for these guys. But I wanted to do a show because I guess people around.
Hey, did you mute the mic?
Is it muted?
Oh,
You're not hearing it?
No.
oh.
Mic check, mic check. Sup, says so. Can you hear us? Mic check. Well, I'm seeing the audio here.
Okay, all right.
Can you guys hear us? Says so. Can you hear us?
Did we lose audio or are we
Yeah,
good?
I don't know. Kind of didn't sound upstairs.
Mic check. Can you hear us?
Okay. Well, I guess I can start over. This is the.
We can hear fine. Everything's fine. Okay.
Okay.
Cool,
All right.
keep
Yeah.
going.
So this is the design. If you're going to be become a Bitcoin standard bearer and want the staff, and again, you know, you kind of have to be qualified. If you're working stiff for a living, you don't need this. Okay, get your hodl. But those that have been hodling and have a hodl, you want to help support Bitcoin
network,
and
yeah.
what everybody is doing here. Then hey, get one of these. We're going to be doing a similar thing. I'm going to hold this for a minute. I'll get that shield out so you guys can kind
Yeah,
of
the
see
shield is
vision.
awesome. That's a prototype. It's a prototype. One of these has a laser, by the
If
way.
you look at
That doesn't happen
understanding-
anymore. No more lasers. You can't really see it.
If you look at
There we go.
understanding,
There's the laser.
but yeah, and this has a light on it. I don't know how to turn it on.
There we go.
But this is the prototype, and let me see if I can figure out where the light is. Is that it? All right. There it is.
What's up,
All
Tipsy?
right. So this will all get finished off, and it'll be, I don't know exactly, Bitcoin shield or something like that, but we want to give it to an award and it's a reward for the developers, because there's a lot of developers in here, particularly these guys that are coming in late. Now we know, like Peter Todd and so forth, we're in on Bitcoin, you know, when it was first started. There's a lot of Bitcoin, you know, after one to $1,000, $2,000, even $10,000, and yet they've been working on development and they don't get no pay. And so we just want to recognize those people. And so this is really the big one that we want to do for fundraising. This will be unique. You won't be able to buy one like this, but we're going to design a similar shield that you can purchase so you can be a defender of Bitcoin, because that's what these guys are. And we have the Bitcoin standard bearers, and then we have the Bitcoin I guess protectors.
Shield, yeah.
Yeah. And so that's what we want to promote.
Defend guard.
And yeah, they're the guards, they're the guardians. You know, we depend on these developers because we understand Bitcoin. We understand what people, they come up with all these things that are better than Bitcoin, but we know they're not, because the most important thing about Bitcoin is it's the longest chain, proof of work, and has a fixed supply, which means that it is a deflationary asset, and it acts in very strange ways, but very productive ways. So to give you an example, that's why I teach you guys hodl, hodl, hodl. That's number one. And number two is save, save, save. That's where you reward yourself. And number three is build a, build a, build a. And that's where we're building a whole new economy on Bitcoin. And in that sense, I wanted to point out that one of the reasons that I offered the my newsletter at a half price between November and Christmas is I did realize that the market was low, and I did think it was going to rally. So I said, you know what? I can offer this at half price. I can hodl the half price offer and still come out well. So everybody turns out to be a winner in that kind of a situation. People get the lifetime subscription. You know, I came out fine because, you know, I held that Bitcoin, and you know, that's just, we don't know exactly how it's going to, you know, work out, but that's what. Can you take this, Eddie, and turn it off? We don't need this, or we can keep it up back here. I'm afraid it might fall off.
Maybe nice to hang it somewhere, but
Yeah,
there's nowhere to
yeah,
hang
we'll
it.
just give it to Eddie. So,
Nowhere to hang it.
but I wanted you guys to see it because that's where we're going. And what we want to do is, you know, nominate every year. There's two different kinds of rewards. One is for the Bitcoin standard bearer, and those are just people that are, you know, that are helping us all spreading the word. And then the other one is exclusively for the developers that will be awarded at the Malta conference, Understanding Bitcoin. I think that's in June. So anyway, I wanted to get on and talk to particularly members that are going to the Unconfiscatable conference. We want to set up, I'm not very good at this stuff, but Juan is, so he'll probably set up a Telegram group. So when we're there, you know, we can connect. I did get a suite. I don't want to be competing. I know Tone has some kind of well, he has his technical trading seminar on Thursday. And so, but I thought someday, maybe after that, for members, well, I'm going to have if you're a member, basically we'll have probably a little hospitality thing on Wednesday night. And then on Thursday, I'll have some kind of a workshop or just ask me anything. So that's kind of where we're going on it. And then I didn't really realize it, but, you know, there's a headliner of speakers there. And the conference is just one day. It's just Saturday. So basically, if you live in Southern California or, you know, in the Las Vegas, Arizona area, you can go up there in the morning and get home at night and not even have the cost of a hotel room. So if you're thinking about going, there are tickets still available. It's like $250. It's an incredible bargain, guys. If you can make it, you know, try and make it. If you're a member, then you can come to all the little things that I'll be sponsoring. We'll probably have a little hospitality wine and cheese on Wednesday night. I need to see the layout, how big this suite is that I got. And so that's it. And we will be bringing 12 of these staffs. So if you order a staff and you want one, that's going to be for our members first, and then anybody can buy them if they want them. I'm sure we'll sell out at the conference. Yeah. But, you know, it'll raise a Bitcoin, at least a Bitcoin for Tyler Jenks, and he's certainly deserving of that. And that's the whole idea behind it. So yeah, I thought I'd talk a little bit about the markets because people have been asked, I've been indirectly, see where exactly, what does he think? And just so people can see it. Let me.
But yeah, we'll meet up. We'll meet up at the conference. It'd be great to connect. We'll share the link to the group, and
yeah, we'll send out an email. Yeah. Or probably just I'll send out an email. So, and then and you guys that are members, you know, and you're not there, you can still be part of the members group. Yeah, just a members group where, but mainly I want to, you know, broadcast where, you know, what we'll be doing, because I'm not really sure what the setup is going to be like. I know they have a whole floor, and I kind of said been invited, hey, if you want to do a workshop, you can. So maybe we'll just do that, but I don't want to.
It's pretty short. We're pretty close to the time, so
Yes, we're going to be leaving Wednesday.
we can
And-
definitely do like a Q&A sort of just hang out and take questions from the
Well, yeah,
audience
I
and,
did that
you know,
with
have a
3
screen and
members
stuff.
a month ago, and they pulled out some
Oh, yeah,
stuff.
that's great.
You
It would be
know,
a great time,
that's the way to do it. So let's do a little screen share now. Look at the
Mhm.
markets. See,
Yeah. I
I'm
go to
gonna
Chrome select
share,
the trading.
and I go to.
Well, hang on, let me do it
Oops,
before.
that's not it.
That's not it. Close that.
Okay.
Let me do it.
All right. Yeah.
So first you want to select the chart. You want to show that
Yeah,
or do you want, that
that's
one's
good.
fine?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
good. That's good. Yeah. All right. I did enter a position, guys, last night. I thought this thing was going to go down. Everybody was so bullish, and I didn't want to sell the Bitcoin. I'm looking to buy Bitcoin. So the way I did it, and because I kind of took hit my equity. I mean, I'm still 3 times equity for the year, but I just had a drawdown I shouldn't have had. And so I did sell. Let's go look at my position. I did sell a little bit of Ethereum here at 283.80 and some XRP at 33.73. And I've got, a nice little profit I mean, it's my equity has gone up 10%. So, and I am looking, I kind of, I probably will write a bunch of articles this weekend because I do think that this rally was a phony rally. And I don't, because it was on the altcoins, although a rally in Bitcoin is never phony. So
Yeah.
the whole thing is all the altcoins are phony. I'm kind of a little bit disgusted because there hopefully it's some smart speculators that simply have been able to profit from this. The people that are responsible for these shit coins, I hope they truly believe in them. I think that the Bitcoin dominance is going to resume. We had like a record 11 or 12 days. I'll see if I could pull that up on Trading View. Let me get out of, let's go to us, and then I'll pull it back up and kind of show them what I'm looking at. Let me go in here and do Trading View.
Yeah, dominance chart went down a little bit. We were like, we hit like I think 67% and then it started to come back down a bit.
Well, my bias was certainly showing because I fought it for way too long, and now I'm finally trading wisely again. Let's see, Bitcoin.
Oh yeah, so we had an interesting question from GNU. What to tell your parents and friends when you're investing in Bitcoin, or not tell at all until you make a lot of money? I mean, you can test the waters, At the end of the day, you gotta live your conscience and act your conscience. And if you believe that this thing is a good thing, then yeah, get in it. But not everybody has the risk tolerance that you probably have. And so start by teaching them about it, start by talking to them about it, and just sort of, that's what I do. I just sort of live it, right? And the moment that you make money, people will start to listen a bit more, right? When you start seeing that, they start seeing that the money's showing. Yeah, just talk to them about it. They're gonna have 50 questions, and that's reasonable. They should have 50 questions, So that'll help you understand it better. Being able to try to answer those questions, it'll help you understand it better, and then eventually, if they're they're interested, they'll get in.
Yeah, and you can't save the world. I mean, when I
can't
first
save the world, yeah.
when I went into it, I saw it for what it was, and I was sending Bitcoin to everybody, and I just begged my children to buy Bitcoin, and one of them did in a very small way, and did very well, but they really you really have to have a little basic understanding of what sound money is, and you have to be thinking out of the box. All 3 of my sons are pretty, establishment type of guys. They have not. I mean, they have very good jobs, and they're all very professionals and top notch in their fields. So I'm real proud of them. But those kind of people aren't like you and I, right? Juan, we're more and more this.
We're a
little crazy. Yeah, you have to be a little crazy, and then you're probably more apt to believe in Bitcoin. So anyway, this is what I wanted to show you. And this big, we screen share again so we can show them this chart.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Some good questions accumulating on the chat. We'll get back to them. This one right here.
Yeah. Okay. This is the Bitcoin dominance chart, which I just TradingView has. TradingView has so much stuff. Guys, I'm really not very technical savvy. That's why Juan's here. I'm trying to work out things together so we can do more stuff together because he knows so much that I don't. And he thinks I know something he doesn't, but I think I got him fooled. So at any rate, this is what is just kind of really amazes me. This market just kept trending down. You have there's 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 down days. Well, you can't argue with that trend, guys. I mean, that's a downtrend. By the same token, fundamentally, it's just not justified in my estimation. So I am looking for this to reverse. And it doesn't mean it can't widen out more. I mean, these you know, the problem with the altcoins is that they are thin. But, you know, fundamentally, Bitcoin's the only thing that's going to be remain standing in the end. Now, there's people that disagree with me, and to a degree, that's an in-house debate, but not to. As long as they're not scamming, then that's kind of an in-house debate. But there's kind of three different views of this, and that is, you know, that Bitcoin is going to become useful in, you know, day-to-day trades and will become the standard nationwide. Oh, just a minute. The boss is calling. Yes, my love. Yes.
Elias, the carpenter, he's called me and he said that he's almost done with all the stuff.
Oh, good. With the staffs? Okay. Well, great. All right.
Yeah.
Well, we're doing a show right now. So you want to say hello to the audience?
Hi.
The goat lady's going to be at the conference, guys. So you don't want to miss that. You know, and I'm having to pay her like double time because she says, you know, I don't really want to go because I have my own business I need to run.
Yeah,
So,
look, guys, I'm doing here at the sewing machine. I have my own business, but ugly old dog wanted that I there with him, and I don't do my job. I have to do my job. I have a lot of things to do.
so she's going to be a paid attendee. I got to pay her. She said, you know, I'm not coming unless you pay me because I got to give up my business. So at any rate.
Okay.
And she just gave up her store. I'm gonna have to start paying rent here for. She's starting to become a landlord for me too. I got to pay her rent for all the facilities that we've been using here for free.
And you say that I don't learn. You saw I did learn.
All right. Well, thank you. We'll finish our show. We want to make this brief, but you certainly made it a highlight. What?
The thing they wanted to. Okay, fine.
Oh, okay, but then you want to. All right. Okay. Bye. I can see. I don't know. So, at any rate, this is it. Now, I'm not this. I look for this thing to reverse and reverse with a vengeance. And if you kind of go here, let me. I think I can do this here. Let's go to Ethereum weekly. Let's see if we can do this, guys. Sorry. But this, yeah, it's straight up and most likely it's going to go straight down. Okay. Now, the trick is, what is that going to do to Bitcoin?
That's Ethereum USD.
That's Ethereum. And you know what? That is not, to me, that is a pump. And that is, if this thing goes back down now, it's toast. It is toast. Okay. It has to go down. I agree with that first. But, you know, let's go look at some of the other shit coins here. Let's go. Well, here, I guess we could what is that? XRP, is that Ripple?
It's Bitfinex. That's XRP is Ripple, yeah.
Yeah, Ripple. Yeah, Ripple didn't even do that. You know, Ripple just kind of dribbled. And the other one that I think is worthwhile looking at is Bcash. Where is Bcash?
BCH USD.
Yeah, we can look at that. BCH. Oh, that's Bitcoin, isn't it?
No, BCH is
Okay.
Bitcoin, yeah,
Well, let's go look at it relative to
the Bitcoin.
yeah, relative to Bitcoin. I think that's
You
more.
can just type it in there. You see what the search is?
Yeah.
Just type
Okay.
BTC BCH.
BCH. BTC. All right.
Right there.
Enter. Let's see where we go. Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
We can go
Bitstamp. Yeah. Bitstamp's the
gonna
best.
have-
Yeah.
I think Bitstam's going. Okay. So there we are. You know, and it's possible. I mean, these guys are looking for, oh, the alt season is here. The alt season is here. Well, maybe, maybe it is, but I think you're going to have a hard time. The more they pump them up, the more it's going to take to keep pumping them. And when
Right.
they figure out it's all just fluff and air, then it's going to go down. Now, as far as Bitcoin is concerned, I mean, there's no way you can be bearish on this technically. Although, everybody was so bullish this last week that I said, you know what, this is going to go down. And so I just settled a little bit short. And now you're at the point where I don't know what this week's low is going to be, but if this week's low, if the low that we've had already this week is the low, then I'll be a buyer starting right in there, right at those lows, which is right now. Again, it depends on where we close tomorrow. But 97.01. Where is it on BitMEX? Let's go here. Okay, so I don't know where it's going to close. We could break some more harder today. I've got orders to buy it if it breaks this previous week's lows, but it won't. Now I'll move that up if this thing closes in here, and then I will be a buyer if we take out this week's lows next week. Which, if these lows hold that we have, which I'm not at all sure they will, 97.15 is going to be the place where I'm going to start looking to enter again. I'm really not too interested in covering the little shorts that I have on right now. Maybe I should be, but I just don't. It's working, and I don't have a large position on, and that's what we're doing. I did put it on the equity app, so let's get out of here, and I'll put the equity. How do we go to not? Okay,
You
now
want
we
to show
go
the
back.
equity app?
Yeah, pull that one up. It should be right there.
think
Pull up there.
this is
The white screen.
Right.
There you go. Okay.
You want to show it on the screen? Right?
Yeah. So now we can share that with them.
Equity app.
Yeah.
go.
So there it is, guys. There's the equity app. You can see where I put on a position here, and I had very little adversity. I mean, it went my way, then then it really worked. And then we actually did get like an 8 or a 9 in there on the hourly. But this is, I'm going to start using this more, because had I used it, I wouldn't have had that big equity downturn that I allowed to happen. And that was all my fault. That was all my doing. So, but I'm confident in my trading. I know that I'll win, at least I have every year since I started trading Bitcoin. So, but I just feel like there's an extra pressure on this when I started the newsletter, because I'm publishing all my trades and you guys get to see everything that I do. So I do feel responsible. I don't want to, if I make a mistake, I'll talk about them. The lessons that you're going to learn, the biggest lessons you're going to learn from me are the mistakes that I make, not from the successes that I have. So I know that's hard to fathom, but it's really true. And, I know that some of you, particularly, you are disappointed when you started your subscription because you thought somehow I was going to give you recommendations and tell you where to buy and where. It doesn't work that way. Trading is dynamic. And I don't know, what I'm going to be doing. I kind of give you an idea, but and then, how do you execute that? How do I got to blast out there. Well, here's what I'm doing. And, it just doesn't work that way. So What I can do is show this is, show you this is what I have done, keep you informed, keep you posted on, what my ideas of the market are. I am not that super. I mean, I wrote about that flying W, and what should happen. I mean, what should most likely happen is Bitcoin will go into contract highs, but none of these altcoins will. So how that's going to affect the different spreads and the arbitrage, I don't know. What I would like to see, the healthiest thing for Bitcoin would be the whole thing is no good right now, and we just continue into a sideways to down market for another 6 months to a year, and go back down and under that 7,000, maybe 5,000 area. Just look.
But what about the halvening? I mean, the halvening's coming. That's what
Yeah, I don't.
you don't believe
People
it?
smarter than me have to figure that one out, because I have no, look. There's 20 million Bitcoin. What you have to do is forget the halvening. Forget there's no inflation rate on Bitcoin.
But there is an issuance rate, like the
Right.
amount of Bitcoin dumped into the market by miners is going to cut it. in
Right,
half.
but it's a small percent of the total amount of
It's
Bitcoin.
like
I just don't.
$3
It,
billion.
it has a psychological effect, but does it really have a fundamental
$100
effect?
million
No.
a day.
Well, that's
I
not
don't
that
know, that's a good
much.
question.
That's really
Yeah,
not
it's a
that
good
much.
question.
And the way people, there was an article that came out. What was it that, I should, maybe it's still on. No,
Yeah.
it's on. But
We got a lot of
how
questions,
big? Okay, go ahead. What questions do you have?
What were you thinking about the article? I'll go.
Okay,
through it.
well, there was an article that came out about how I don't know how many millions that BitMEX took out of the market.
Mhm.
No, they didn't take that much out of the market. Number one, it's a leveraged market, so you can't measure that their total volume based on what the value of their trades is. You got to understand what hedging is all about, and BitMEX has made Bitcoin so much more efficient. And I just I was very sad to see the people that they don't understand the difference between getting liquidated, which is just a great innovation that BitMEX and Arthur Hayes invented, and between a stop. That XRP had a flash crash down. They ran through all the stops. Nobody got liquidated unless you had your liquidation real high, but it didn't. If you had a liquidation price there, you didn't get stopped out.
Yeah, because it was an index, right? Not the actual
And
price.
so that's why I say, and you just need to understand how markets work. In my day, you run through stops, and you didn't have such a thing as a liquidation. You didn't have such a thing where you're guaranteed you're not going to lose more than what you have in that account.
Right.
I mean, in my early days when I didn't know what I was doing, I mean, I would have margin calls for several $100,000, and it'd take me a while to I had to make those, and you have to meet them. Either that or you declare bankruptcy or something. So you don't understand that. I know just how far in advance these markets are compared to what they were 40 or 50 years ago.
All right. So we have a bunch of questions. Let's try to shoot them like a rapid fire questions here. So Ceso asks, for stop limit at BitMEX, what is the best option to set as a trigger for it? Last price, market price, or index price?
Well, if you're going to do a stop limit, it should be whatever the market is.
Market price?
Yeah. Well, yeah, just do it. And then what you do is you usually put a stop limit. You put your stop one place, and then you might put your limit another place, which you can do. You can set that thing. So if it triggers that, I want it stopped out, and I'll take a beating, but only so much. So in other words, if the market's rapid and going down, the problem with any stop limit market is it does not take you out of the market necessarily. It most likely will, but if it goes through your stop and never goes back up there, you're stuck in hind tip for a long time. So there's nothing perfect about it, but that's why I don't really like to use stops. Occasionally I do, but I much prefer if I'm going to exit because the market's going to take me out, I'd rather get liquidated out And
Mhm.
again, there's a lot of people, they've written articles the opposite way that say, no, you don't want to get wrecked because it's going to cost you an insurance fund and blah, blah, blah. But I said, no, because you know where you're going to get wrecked. It's not going to be worse than that. And if they're guaranteeing that fill. And so if you can't, if the fill turns out to be really horrendous, what they do is they socialize the loss on the thing, and which is really a very ingenious way to keep people from losing more than their balances. So I mean, I get it when say okay, it's better to use a stop, but that's if you get stopped out at the point you put your stop or close to it. But on the using the Reckitt, using the liquidation to get out, you're going to have something left in the end. You're not going to get completely wiped out or have a negative balance.
All right, we got another question. Hi, can you take a look at Hedera Hashgraph, please? I bought at 1 cent and sold too early. Still made some good gains. I think it will be a top altcoin. I think the answer is we can't look at. We're not going to look at it. But
No, I'm not going to look at.
Yeah.
Is that what is that hash? Is that is an altcoin of some
It's
kind?
it's a fork of a fork of a fork of IOTA, which is a total scam.
Okay. Okay. No, I'm not going to do that.
Just if you're
I
thinking,
look.
you
I'm
probably
not.
want to look at.
I'm not,
cash
and
out.
I'm not. You know what? I don't trade on any of the only place I'm trading right now is BitMEX. I mean, I make my living off of it, so why shouldn't I?
Historically speaking, all altcoins that people have believed in have gone back to zero. So if you're in profits, you might want to contemplate taking some profits. I know I've been there multiple times. I took the whole shitcoin tour and returned to Bitcoin.
Right. Everybody.
So,
Yeah. If you bought into that argument, you're going to have to learn the hard way, because I've done everything to try and teach you. Otherwise, it doesn't mean, again, the best. You can trade them like I'm trading them on BitMEX right now. I like BitMEX because they're more liquid and and they're only the big coins that are there. I don't want to get into these other crap coins where there's no liquidity or anything. So, I just, we can't go there, because once we start that, everybody's going to want to know what I think. And basically we are here to promote Bitcoin and the Bitcoin standard.
It's the only thing that really matters.
And right. So what else?
Right. What else we got? Index price. Tyler said, to be confident of BTC. If 6K would hold, the BTC dominance would get higher afterwards. Oh yeah, that's a funny comment. Wikipedia says female goats are referred to as daws or nannies. Intact males are called bucks or billies. So you're a buck.
I'm a buck or a billy, I guess. A billy.
There we go.
So roll up. There was a good question about where somebody what was this? Ugly comment on the hilarious Python videos made by
Blockchain Racing Club on Twitter. Oh, I
haven't seen them. I'll have to go look.
Yeah, we'll have to go look at them. Send us a link, silly party.
Yeah. I'm always open for guys. Don't be shy to contact me through Twitter. It's probably the best way to contact. If you have some good link, I check Twitter regularly. If you send me a message, I may not catch it right away, but I usually catch it.
Yeah. What do you guys think of the number of active addresses on Bitcoin blockchain if it just staggered since 2017? Are you aware if that data accounts for SegWit addresses? Because it said 2017 is when SegWit started to really dominate, and I think it's like last I checked, it was like 50%.
I don't know. You're asking
usage. So
you gotta ask somebody that understands the back end of Bitcoin.
I mean, I can tell you some things about it. I'm not like a developer, but I understand a decent amount of it. So so that would be one thing that I would ask is what's the data on that. The other thing is you had a parabolic move in price, which is a parabolic move in attention. So a lot of new addresses get created, people buy, and then they hodl. And they probably are not going to use it for a while because, let's face it, it's not a currency yet. It's a store of value sort of asset. It's not really a currency status yet. So activity on those new addresses or creation of new addresses would probably slow down after that. But it also means hodl, right? So the more addresses that got created and money got into it, it hasn't moved. It's more people that are hodling, right? So there's like hodl wave charts that you can look at that are really interesting. And then the other thing is Lightning brings a lot of volume off chain, but that's still very small and very early.
Right. But there's going to be more and more stuff as the Bitcoin standard evolves. There's going to be more and more, quote, Bitcoin transactions because it's a standard. And guys, it's what I've been trying to teach all along. if Bitcoin becomes a standard, it's not going to be used as cash.
Yeah. One day, people like Visa and Mastercard are going to be processing Bitcoin
It-
transactions,
it
and they're going to
won't-
be off chain.
It
and you're
won't
not
be.
gonna
It
see them.
won't be used as cash. It just won't be. Gold was once a gold standard was evolved. Circulating gold went way down. You could still have gold coins. You could buy things with gold coins, but everybody used some derivative.
Yeah.
The governments actually created what they call it seigniorage. They would mint copper, silver, and nickel coins that had a face value in gold, but the intrinsic value is much less. Well, that's
Yeah.
a legitimate service that governments performed.
Mm,
And
wouldn't that be fiat though? Because it's not really.
no, it's not fiat
No?
because it was
Cheaper
gold.
metals.
I mean, it's what if they decree gold, I don't have a problem with that.
Sure.
They decree, gold is our standard, but that's not what we did. We're saying what we have is by fiat. We're just decreeing, this is what you have to have our dollars to pay your taxes, and that's basically what fiat is. But no, I don't. There's there's different schools. There's some people I know. Safety Amos kind of believes that Bitcoin's going to take over. I don't. I think it's going to compete. I think it will help it will compete with government coinage, and it's going to keep government coinage honest. And I think it may very well be responsible for bringing some form of a gold standard back. And then there's others like Andre Antonopoulos who they've kind of gone on this idea that no, you can have these competing standards, and I just don't buy into that. And the Bitcoin is Ethereum's not an innovation. Bitcoin was the innovation. Okay, and all the other altcoins, they're not innovations. They tell you that by the way they advertise. They say, "Hey, we're better than Bitcoin." So they haven't invented anything better. They're just taking. They're trying to say, well, we've done something better. And the fact that it happens to have some feature Bitcoin doesn't have does not make it better, because what makes Bitcoin good is that it has that fixed supply and it's secure.
Yeah.
And it's hard to get. And that's what makes it worthwhile.
Mhm.
Okay.
All right. Oh. Well, there's some.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with using Consentio and moving averages, and Tyler Jenks was an expert in that, and it is a long-term thing, and that's why you can't fight this bullish trend because Bitcoin is fundamentally bullish, but I wouldn't trust them. And you've got all these altcoins, they're showing that they are also in a bullish trend, but the problem with those bullish trends, they end so quickly. When they fall apart, they just fall apart all at once. And unless you sell on the way up, you don't
be
get
holding
out.
all the way down.
You'll be holding all the way down. Absolutely.
So, Bud Thompson asks, I missed the beginning. Did you dip your toe back in the market yet, Goat? Are you long?
What do you say?
Yeah, he missed the beginning of the show. So did you dip your toe back in the market yet?
I have not. I went short.
Are you-
If you look, we can go back and look. Just go back to big. I actually went short Ripple and Ethereum lightly before this break, and so I am looking to buy Bitcoin against it. There was a weak buy signal here, when it had the double bump, but I didn't follow it. I'm kind of waiting. I want to see how it finishes the week. I think you'll be able to buy it close to or below this week's lows, and I might be wrong, but that's what I will be looking for. There he is now. Okay.
I see that question.
Yeah, I still have some Monero, but I'm looking to get rid of it. I mean, really, what's it?
I'm holding some Monero. I got a little bag of Monero.
But would I buy any more? Would I just I got it. I was actually in Monero way back when it was like under a penny, I think, and I sold some at 2.5 cents. So I didn't really know what it was. I was into the crypto thing, and which I just don't recommend anybody does, because it's unless you really know what you're doing. So.
Ishmael asks, "Can I get my money back?"
Can I get my money back from what? Oh, yeah.
From the shitcoin you bought? Sorry, man.
Did you?
Is
I
it
know.
is the price of gold suppressed by central banks, or is this a conspiracy? That's a good question.
No, it's
It's
not
not
suppressed. It's not suppressed, and it's not
It's
a
a libertarian
conspiracy.
conspiracy. Yeah.
It's neither
Isn't
one.
there
I mean,
paper cash being sold? Paper
gold
being
gold
sold?
is what it is, and I do think I you know look, the underlying fundamental for Bitcoin is not even Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the only true innovation. But the reason that Bitcoin is bullish, if we didn't have 110 years of fiat money, so it's really kind of all started when they created the Fed in 1913.
Mm.
If we didn't have that history, then Bitcoin, we wouldn't even need
Be a lot
Bitcoin.
less interesting. Yeah.
And the reason that Bitcoin came about is because you had people that realized there was a need, and they realized that that need could be met through uh, cryptography.
Mm.
And there were a lot of smart people working on that for years and years and years. I was doing it with gold. I thought we could reintroduce the gold standard on a private basis, and I started a company way back in the day and invented gold coins with F.A. Hayek and Milton Friedman and Henry Hazlitt on it. So, you guys read their stuff, and it's good stuff. But I actually was rubbing shoulders with them, and so this has been going on a long time. But you guys are in the most exciting phase because it is the Wild West. You're going to be experiencing the we've had all this wrong maladjustment that's been going on for decades, and two or three generations now, and it's all going to come home to roost. And Bitcoin is going to allow a relatively smooth transition, to a free market money. That's my view of it. I mean, Bitcoin is really what the world
Catalyst.
needs to not prevent itself from going into chaos.
All right. I mean, one of my concerns there is that, gold was supposed to do that, but then it got broken because it was centralized and because people were using fiat gold or paper gold as a medium of exchange. And then the store of gold centralized. And that's why the Federal Reserve was able to take down the gold standard. My concern is that could happen with Bitcoin if we stop using Bitcoin itself, where people just use centralized exchanges and develop some sort of protocol on top of that to move the money around. That would be a problem.
Okay, well, there's a question about the TDR. Yeah, I saw that today with on Tone. They had Joe Satz on, and so I did kind of sign up for it, and I was looking at. Look, there's no one indicator that is that you should bet the farm on. I don't know if it's a useful indicator or not. Joe Satz certainly believes in it, and I have a high regard for him, and he was able to show it to Tone, and he says, yeah, that looks like there's a merit to it. So I think there's a lot of stuff out there that I've never used. They have that VWAP stuff, and there's it. The most important thing is you need to be consistent on the indicators that you do use. So yeah, I'm not I don't know. I'm looking at it. I'm always looking at new things, but if I change something, I change it very slowly and one step at a time. The one thing that you can't change is your money management, and that's why we've developed the equity app, because I think that's the number one. And I haven't been using it. I should use it more. I should just be trading on that equity app. When I got close to 9, I probably should have just gone out and waited to see what happens. We're probably going to do that here once we get all the bugs worked out of it, and just not even do random trades with it and just follow the equity app and see how it goes. But incidentally, Victor is going to be there, so hopefully we'll do a equity app seminar or meetup or something where we can go through that. I do, again, if you're going to the unconfiscatable, any event that we have, there's no charge. So if you're watching this and you're not a member, you might want to sign up and become a member if you're going to the conference, because you do get certain perks if you become a lifetime member, and that's what I would do. So anything else we
Yeah, we got
cover?
another interesting
Okay.
question. If Satoshi's 900,000 BTC were moved, how do you think it would affect the market short and long term?
I mean, long term, I don't think it'll have any effect at all. Short
Yeah.
term, yeah. I mean, people panic and they think it's
Yeah.
all coming into the. Probably the best way I can remember telling you, there were back in when gold was first legalized. I think it was 1978 or 9. Shortly after it was legalized, the IMF announced gold sales. And when they announced that there was a sharp, it wasn't sharp, but gold had rallied up to $200. And once they started those sales, over about a 6-month or year period, gold went from $200 to $100. But they kept doing the sales, and that was a non-event. And that $100 was the low. From then on, went from $100 up to $600, and that was it. So the only thing we have to be careful of is not get too over excited about these things, because nothing ever is going to happen the way we think it's going to happen. When I was back there in the gold market, we thought we were going to have $6,000 gold. Well, we never got really much. 650. One day we spiked up to 800, but it never went back up there, and it took decades for it to get back up there. So I don't think the same is going to happen with Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is a different beast. It just really is. It's a first of its kind. It's the first of a kind that's actually deflationary, because we're losing Bitcoin every month. It's not, I hate it when people call mining an inflation rate, because it's not. That term actually comes about from altcoins, because they want to compare their inflation rate with Bitcoin and say, well, we have a fixed inflation rate, or we have a lower, I think,
Dynamic.
I think, what's his name? The guy, Richard Hart, we have an inflation rate that's higher now, but it's going to be lower than Bitcoin later. Right. And everybody's got their own way. And the same debates were going on. We just didn't have cryptocurrencies. Milton Friedman was a monetarist. He believed once, Keynesians was established, and once the Bretton Woods agreement was established, he actually recommended that the money supply be increased at a fixed percent every year, 5%. But everybody would know it. It would be dependent on. But of course, that was a dream that never happened. So the thing about Bitcoin is it can't be changed. At least nobody's figured out a way to do it yet. I mean, we know what the number are going to be produced are. We know that every day some are getting lost. And so that's the whole thing.
Yeah, it's perfectly predictable.
So what else? We got any other?
I think that's all we got. I mean, people are commenting and stuff, but that's all the questions. And, we're at 45 minutes.
I'm still bullish on Bitcoin. I'm looking to buy it. I'm sure I can show you my position one more time, just so you guys can, put it on screen share. You can see where I'm at. Boom.
You want to show that?
You can show show that.
This one.
Yeah. Okay. So there it is, guys. Let me move this down here. I am short, very lightly short. I started with 2 Bitcoin. I finally just got out. So you know what? I'm saving 2 Bitcoin no matter what. And so I'm up about 0.2. I've gained about 10%. But here we are. Let's go look at XRP. I shorted Ripple. And you can see I sold it up there. That green line is where I sold it. Here's where we're at now. I'm looking for it to go much. I actually to me, this is a predictor of where it's going. I think we're going to go all the way down. We ran those stops. And so after it did that, and I saw this rally, I said, you know what? That's it. I got to get short. So I sold some. And then I did the same thing with Ethereum. I was just sitting there waiting for it. And I think I sold pretty well, sold the rally. Pretty and
I'm similar to the drop in XRP too, isn't it? Like
yeah, they're all kind of go together, and that's why I say this is a shitcoin rally. It really is. And so I'm not looking for Bitcoin really to take off. It's just that Bitcoin's not going to go down. It's kind of probably should hang in here a bit in February. And the other thing that I didn't like, and which was pretty obvious to me, but I didn't sell it, we were getting way out here on and particularly on the March. The June, I don't care so much about because I only want to be long the June. But this March, if you look at this, look at the spread that we have between the spot and the future. So even though there's a point in time where the rubber band gets stretched so far that it comes back and narrows, and it's already narrowed substantially. If you look here before this break, we were at what 10,594, just call it 10,600, and we were at 10. So you were 10
to the futures
market. Yeah, you had 350 points or more. Here was 10.73 and 10. There was 400.
Yeah,
over. Hey guys, we only have about a month left, 5 weeks left, maybe 6 weeks left. This 101.43 has to come down to the 99.21. By the expiration, it will be there. So you don't want to be buying March. You just don't want to be buying it. If you want to buy, I might be interested in buying the June. If you look at the June. But it used to be trading 100 over March, and right now it's trading about what 250, yeah, 220 over. That's still I'm not too interested until I see this thing narrow, and the problem is you're paying a big penalty to go along the futures right now. It's not like when you see that contango. Now, if this market breaks next week. And we're able to blow out some of these guys, some of these big long positions, and we flash down into a backwardization. I'll be a buyer. I just hope I'm awake when it happens. So that would be my position. Let's go look at, see if we can pull up. Let's do the 12. I'll do 4 hours and see if we can show. And let's do March. All right. Now look, guys, this is where you see when we were in the backwardization, this is where you buy it. You bought it under, I don't know.
That's great time.
Yeah. I don't know how to make it more clear to you guys. You buy the dips, backwardization, you buy here. Why would I want to be bullish with this kind of a contango? Okay. Now I was a little bit mad because I did, the way I teach you guys, the outside days are really bullish, not bearish. And so we had all this daily, let's go back over here. We had all this daily stuff going on. But I said, you know what? Just sometimes I'm not going to catch the thing. But here we had this day here where we had an outside day closing lower. I was going to buy it here, and then I got caught up with a family event or something. I was getting ready to buy it right in here. Shoot, by the time I got back, it already had this big rally up. And you see this outside day, they call it engulfing. I call it an outside day. Most of the time, it's not a reversal. And even this time here, it did it again here. Okay. And you could have bought it. Now, if it had done it a third time, I wouldn't. But this one here is more legitimate. So but we could just keep on heading south. Am I going to be surprised if we've topped out for the year? No, I'm not. Remember, unconfiscatable last year. I was the only one that was super bullish when we were at 3,200. I didn't think I was ever going to break 3,000, and I'm the breakout that we had here the 1st of January was a good one, but it's not as good as the one that you had like back there in April 1st. So, I mean, I'm going to be a buyer, but I'll be a cautious buyer. And, you know, if the moving averages hold, and they should, then this thing should just trend on up, and we can follow it up with a stop. I will be a buyer. Anything, whatever the lows are this week, we get close to them or break them, I'll start being a buyer there and actually be looking to add to it. So that's my view, and
Great.
hope you guys.
Yeah, 57 people watching. That's great. Any final questions before we go? For 45 minutes, so it's time.
Come to
go work.
Unconfiscatable.
Yeah,
And if
come
you're
down.
if you're just tuning into this because it's a free session, remember, normally these sessions, I only tweet to lifetime members. We don't tweet it out on Twitter. And if you just get on Twitter, there's a bunch of people that give you their referral code. You get a 15% discount if you sign up through the newsletter through a members affiliate link. You know, it's just our way to kind of spread the news, and we want everybody to get on the Bitcoin standard of some kind or another.
Yeah.
So I will probably Wednesday night, if you're coming, the Goat Lady and I are planning a kind of a wine and cheese thing with some good Mexican wine.
Yeah, come on.
On Wednesday night. Thursday, probably after tone session, maybe I'll have a meetup of some kind. I just kind of have to see what the lineup is going to be. Friday, I'm going to be going to Giacomo Zucco's workshop, so I don't want to miss that one. And then Thursday night, there'll be a pinball tournament. I don't want to miss that. We could either have, that would be a good time to have a session either before the pinball or after the pinball, probably before. That's what I'm thinking, late Thursday afternoon. And then Friday night is the carnivory dinner. It's expensive. I think it's a couple $100, but
Sold out too.
Oh, it's already sold
Yeah,
out.
it's sold out.
Okay. So that's sold out, but it's a one-on-one, guys,
Mhm.
with these guys. I'll be
Mhm.
dressed up as the goat guy. We'll
That's
probably
great.
have all of our staffs there,
Mhm.
and you know, it'll be a lot of fun to get your picture taken, and then all day the next day, which is Saturday, is going to be the conference. I'm a little disappointed because there's such a great number of speakers there, and yet we only have one day. So it's going to be a full day. And then the following day is the poker tournament. I would like to participate. I did last year, but we do have children here at home, and I promised that we'd be back Sunday night. So we got to leave Sunday.
So one question that's interesting before we go, what do you think about the CME gap? The gap seems to be 10.4 on Monday. I don't know if this means anything. There's two separate questions about the CME gap, I think.
I don't know. Yeah, they were talking about, Tone Babes was talking about that. You know, and there's a theory out there that, you know, gaps are made to be filled, but I don't know how you trade that. I mean, I really don't. And so there's just no way to trade it. I guess if it gets close, it would be a way that you say, well, it should go back up and fill that gap. But from what point? I don't use any kind of gap theory in my trading because I don't find it useful. I will kind of make one exception to that, and that is if you have a 2 or 3 day very quiet days, and then you have a gap up or down, and particularly if you're at a peak and then you gap down, or you're at a low and you gap up, that's a very common bottom because that's kind of the final washout. It used to happen for a reason in the futures market, and that is because of margin calls. And when a customer gets a margin call, they usually give them like 2 or 3 days to make it. And so if they don't meet the call after those 3 days, then they liquidate you. So it was always that kind of a gap. It was the final guys that they couldn't get their money in there fast enough to hold their position, so they get liquidated. But that's really not true on these markets anymore. Right. You know, it's a different beast. So anyway, that's it. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. We'll probably do this regularly between now and the conference because I just wanted to put this in. If you live in Southern California, if you live in Nevada, if you live in Arizona, you know what? You can run up there, get a ticket. You can drive up early in the morning, spend all day, and just get your, you just spend one night too if you want. Drive back the next day. But it's going to be a super conference, a super star event. And I'm just honored that I'm on it at all because I don't deserve to be there. But these guys, I'll be listening more than I will be talking.
All right. Thanks for watching, everybody. Stay tuned. Come back for more questions for the next show, and expect some new newsletters coming out soon.
Yeah, hopefully before the conference, I'll have
Yeah.
a couple out. Okay. Bye-bye.